second trading day of the week is getting started right here on Frontier. Opening bell. Welcome, everyone. I am Bosi Namafai. Just a quick check-in through the markets. First trading day of the new week. Monday, the Nigerian market down by 0.25% despite gains in some of the big banking names such as FBN Holdings spinning off its merchant banking business. The market priced that latest development very nicely. The stock was up roughly 9%. Zenith Bank yesterday also concluded his a public offer and a right issue. The stock was down. However, there's a massive trading. Roughly 175 million shares of Zenith Bank was traded for more than about 2 billion local currency. Then you've got a couple of names, big names in the industrial and consumer goods losing their share. Lafarge Africa, the third largest cement maker, fell yesterday. Nascon was down, and a couple of other names within the space. Insurance, however, climbed up yesterday, while Owando shares and Eternal Oil also moved up, raising the index within the oil and gas segment of the market. Moved to BRVM, down by 0.37% in Côte d'Ivoire. The EGX 30 returned to green territory after a brutal Sunday, 2.44% when Cairo started trading. Monday market was better at 0.33%, adding a few notches to the 30,000 level for the EGX 30. The NSE in Nairobi up by 0.25%, 105.84, and the GSE in South Africa up by just 0.1%. That's from the financials, tobacco, food products segment of the South African market. Resources basically dragged the market in South Africa on Monday. The rand was trading around 17 plus on the dollar, despite the gain that we saw yesterday on the dollar index. Let's get on to see the rest of what's making the headlines this Tuesday. East Africa, yes, you've got the United States. Not so good news for Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy and his recent reforms in the financial services across the economy. US says it's extending its sanctions on Addis Ababa for yet another 1 year. In the meantime, Ethiopia is asking Egypt to step back from crisis over the Renaissance Dam, the multi-billion-dollar dam that's been a source of face-off between Cairo, Addis Ababa, and Sudan, and a few other countries within the region. Ethiopia says Egypt should step back from further crisis over the dam and allow the project to move on. In the meantime, Kampala's university in Kitengela campus is now up for sale. The university is owing roughly 2 billion Ugandan shillings. So the university has been put up for sale. Back in Kenya, the parliament members of the parliament have summoned the central bank governor, Atuje, and the head of the Capital Market Authority to appear before the parliament over allegations that bond trades regarding the NSSF is being were suspicious. Let's see how that inquiry goes. Kenya is also looking to raise VAT to 14%, previously, or lower VAT, from 16% to 14%, and cut company income tax to 25% from 30% previous. Those are some of the headlines in Kenya. In Tanzania is looking, however, to safeguard access to the EU's coffee market. And those are some of the headlines we got for you this Tuesday out of the East African corridor. Quite a whole lot more to chew, by the way. But let's move on to Southern Africa and see these headlines. Of course, West Africa, the ceremony is now underway. The AFDB 68th anniversary, the day one is now in progress. We're expecting speeches and videos, commemorative videos, and all of that at this event to mark the 68th anniversary of this iconic DFI on the African continent. Dr. Kumi Adesina, the president, who is outgoing, will be standing up for honors for taking the EFDB many steps higher over the last 10 years through tenure that is served at the helm of affairs. EFDB will be selecting, will be rolling out requests for nominations, as it were, from this month. And of course, we've got at least one nominee from the Southern African region. That's in the news. Akume will be stepping down from office formally next year. Let's move on. NUPRC, Nigeria's Austrian regulatory agency, says it has inaugurated a new alternative dispute resolution for companies and host communities within the Niger Delta region where oil and gas come from in Nigeria. It says the NUPR says the alternative dispute resolution will allow for quick adjudication of matters between all parties, and that will be much better than going to court, which take years and years and years before issues are decided. In the meantime, the NNPC and Chevron yesterday put pen to paper and rejig about 5 OML operations of Chevron Nigeria under the PIA, that's the Petroleum Industry Act. And Nigeria is reporting corporate tax collection up 150% in the second quarter. And while the Ministry of Finance is denying that there's no plan to raise the country's VAT from the current 7.5% to 10%. And the banking sector in Ghana has a total assets up about 33.3% January to June this year. You've been briefed. Let's take it to Southern Africa, shall we? And I'm just angling to go there because the telcos in Zimbabwe will now get $5,000 in fines if they provide shoddy services. This was just announced as we saw Starlink, Elon Musk, tweeting on his own X handle that is now in full Starlink business internet services operation in Zimbabwe. The South Africa's Reserve Bank has launched a new study report that shows the payment methods and instruments in South Africa, showing that at least 55% of South Africans use the ATM to get cash. There's also the issue of debit card and all that. And you can just look up that video on SARB, or you can catch it on Frontier Africa Reports. The YouTube subscription for us is free. South Africans, however, Land Bank has reached a deal which could end the bank's debt default. And finally, the EU is looking to grant South Africa about 32 million euros to kickstart the country's green hydrogen project. Those are the headlines in Southern Africa. Let's go to North Africa. Egypt still in the crunch of electricity. Tariffs been done. Subsidies is there. Inflation is reported this morning. So Egypt is reporting inflation that is putting to test all the economic reforms of President El-Sisi. And of course, you have the EFG Herms is hosting the 10th annual London Investor Conference. The focus will be on opportunities for investment within the Middle East and North African region. In the meantime, South Korea and Egypt are discussing cooperation in investment and urban development, while Morocco and Corral Holdings, the Swedish company, have filed for arbitration or rectification. The ICSID, that's the global investment, that's the investment court for adjudication. In contention was the bankruptcy of Samir Oil Refinery in Morocco. That's around 2015. That went to court between the parties. Morocco got slammed with $150 million in damages. Corral Holdings was asking for about $2.7 billion. The $150 million judgment did not sit well with Morocco, so there's an appeal, and then now back in court. The ghost of that refinery is still chasing both parties in that deal. And finally, in some good news for Morocco, however, Sunrise, a textile company that's giant, is looking to do $422 million investment in Morocco's textile sector. Some news good, some bittersweet news for Morocco. But let's hang in there for today, shall we? It's the 10th day of the month of September. Have a great day, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.